everybody, and welcome back to a very special podcast. This is the podcast in which we talk about all of your favorite TV series from yesteryear, and then we get together, we discuss it over a glass of wine, yes, and yes, you may remember me, I am Patrick M. Dunn. You probably remember me from the previous 111 eps, and I'm joined here today by life coach, online certified life coach, life something else. What else are you? I already forgot your titles.
Author, life coach, lead coach, podcaster. I'm sure there's more.
Crazy aunt. Kat Halstead, all of the above. Yeah. So whatever we just said. Welcome back. Welcome back to the table, the round table. We're gonna have a rowdy discussion today about television. Like what we know most about.
Yes, it's been a while.
Yeah. It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, and that's because what happens, like, we get, like, an idea in our head that we can finally, like, be back on a schedule, and I get a freaking promotion.
Yeah, Kat's like a boss now. She has, like, the world's best boss mug that Michael Scott from The Office has. And, I don't know, do you have an office?
No.
What? Girl, what? You don't have an office yet?
No, like, okay, so I shared the desk with the other points.
You have to share a desk?
With the other league. Yeah, because...
Oh,
there's several of us.
Are you there at the same time?
And, like, we're that boss for, like, that shift.
Oh, that's going to be awkward. Like, you just want to, like, eat your lunch, you want to eat your tuna fish out of a can, and you have, like, your neighbor right there next to you, and, I don't know, they're going to smell your tuna fish in a can?
What depressing world do you live in that you're eating tuna fish out of a can?
I don't know, sometimes, like, you know, like, you're a working girl, you're, like, Sigourney Weaver with your little, shoulder pad blazer on, and you're busy. You gotta crunch some numbers and, I don't know, write some people up, maybe like do a conference call, and you don't have time to like eat out of like a normal bowl, so you just gotta eat tuna fish out of a can.
Out of everything you just said, I think the only thing I actually am able to do is write people up.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, just like normal business day-to-day stuff, like, you know, sometimes you just don't have a time, and you just gotta tuna can it. Get that shitty spoon that's been sitting in your top desk drawer for like 3 weeks that you haven't brought home to wash, and then you just take like a napkin or like a tissue that you have on your desk, and you like kind of just like wipe it off a little bit, and then just, I don't know, just shove it into your star-kissed can.
Okay, gross.
Yeah, you should see the face Kat's giving me right now. It's fucking wild. This is like the first time I've ever gotten this face on this podcast. Not in real life, but just on this podcast. I get this face a lot in my
Oh my god, wow, Pat, we gotta work on a few things for you.
It's TMI Tuesday here at AVSP, and we're here just TMIing up a storm. And it's actually Monday, but...
Yeah, it's a gorgeous Monday morning.
Oh, girl, like where I am, it's like a hurricane outside. Here comes the story of a hurricane.
It's 60 degrees right now.
Yeah, well, different strokes for different folks. And speaking of different strokes, which is a TV show, what are we doing today? We're not doing different strokes, but I just have to like segue back into TV.
We're doing a classic from the 70s.
Yeah.
One that we have wanted to do for a while. It's not what we said we were going to do.
Yeah, well, okay, all right. So I think we should do a prologue here. So in case you listened to last week's episode, we teased that we were going to do the show Sisters.
Patrick froze on me.
We couldn't find it. It was unavailable.
Patrick froze on me.
Girl, you froze up on me.
No, you froze up on me.
Okay. Well, if you listened last week, we said that we were going to do the show Sisters, the 90s soap, early 90s TV nighttime soap. But Kat over here was like, I have a source. I definitely have a source. And a girl lied. She lied to us. We do not have a source, so we decided to do another show about sisters.
I did not lie. I just couldn't find it again.
Wow. So you had it at one point in time. It was there in the internet ether?
Yes, I know I had it at one point, and I couldn't find it again.
Yeah, well, we had the option to buy the DVD box set off Amazon, but it was like $20, and I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's just do something for free right now. We'll park it. We'll park it, and we'll come back to it in the future, maybe. Maybe someday we'll have a GoFundMe, and people will donate $40 so we can each get the box set of Sisters. And
yeah,
DVD.
Exactly.
So we're holding out. So send us money and we'll do Sisters. And you know what? No one probably cares anyway. So I don't know. Maybe it's a good thing.
Probably not. They're probably like, what the hell are they even talking about?
I know. They thought we were gonna do sister, but no.
No, we're not doing sister. F that.
What do you have against Tia and Tamara?
I don't even know. I just remember not enjoying that show.
You want to hear something? Want to hear a hot scoop?
Yeah, might as well.
I don't think I've ever actually seen an episode of Sister, to be honest with you.
Really?
Maybe like bits and pieces, but I don't think I've ever sat down and watched like all 30 minutes of it.
I just remember, go home, Roger. That's like all I remember from the series, yeah.
You're drunk or whatever. It's like that new meme, like,
Mm-hmm.
go home, Roger, you're drunk thing. Yeah, and I was gonna say, wasn't the smart guy on it, Taj Mowry, but was that just the smart guy?
No, he was on his own show, The Smart Guy, which I totally did watch.
All right, so I wonder if they ever cross over, because I feel like the one episode that I might have seen 10 minutes of, I feel like the smart guy was on it for some
I don't
reason.
know.
I don't know. But I know for a fact that my sister watched it.
Just don't know.
And I think we already aforementioned in previous episodes that she watched horrible television because she watched Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Oh, Sabrina. I'm still like, ugh.
Bitter about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like reading something online and I saw someone referred to it as a classic television series, and I just wanted to like jump through the internet and strangle that person.
Okay, Mr.
Right.
Ed is a classic TV series.
Yes!
Okay. Elf is a classic TV series.
Hell, I would even say The Smart Guy is a classic TV series.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch is not a classic TV series. No. I'm sorry. Melissa Joan Hart, I love you, but what was that mess?
Yeah, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. We are excited for the new Sabrina the Teenage Witch starring our gal pal Kiernan Shipka, but
Netflix, I'm anxiously awaiting it.
yeah, but in the meantime, we're just gonna have to deal with forgetting all about the original incarnation of you.
Yes.
Yeah. So sorry, Salem the Talking Cat.
Salem's the best part of that stupid show.
I know that. You know what? I would watch a show with Salem the cat, Aunt Rachel from Family Matters, and like Alf, just like all together, like under one roof.
That would be a crazy, wild show, and I would totally watch it.
And maybe Mr. Ed too, like maybe like you get like a cameo by Mr. Ed every now and then. Who knows? Just throwing random like television.
Mr.
characters.
Ed just pops his head in through the kitchen door. Because,
Yeah,
of course,
why
it would
not,
be a
right?
Dutch door.
Yeah, no, maybe the alien from American Dad, Roger.
That would be the wildest crossover show ever.
I know. The only reason I bring up Roger is because I'm in an like intense American Dad rewatch right now. Thank you, Hulu.
Okay, is that why you keep dropping American Dad, like, everywhere?
Like the very like 2005-ish jokes are just wild to me. Like there's jokes about Maria Shriver's wig. There's jokes about Donald Trump, like a pre-president Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Wendy Jo Sparber was in an episode that I watched as Wendy Jo Sparber. I don't know if it was actually like her, but she comes on the screen for a hot minute. And Peter Scolari in the same app. I was like,
Oh, wow.
What is this show?
Seth MacFarlane, comic genius.
Yes. So shout out to that.
Pay attention to who he's calling out in Hollywood.
We learned that he was right all along. Is that what we learned?
Yeah.
All right. Shall we get into what soap is for our young millennials out there?
Yeah.
Listening in for the first time and just learning about this.
Okay. Soap was a sitcom that started in 1977.
Yes.
And it is a parody of soap operas.
Yeah, so it's like hardcore parody of soap operas. You get all the elements of a daytime drama, and they just basically shrunk this down into like a 30-minute sitcom.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like in like a 30-minute episode, just the one we watched tonight, we watched the premiere episode of the show.
Yes.
I feel like they captured every trope that was like has ever been in like a television.
So here's the thing that I believe people who may not have seen soap before should know. Back in the 70s, soap operas were like big time popular.
They were all the rage.
Big time popular. Like, you guys can sit here and be like, oh, soap operas are still on there. First of all, fuck you. And second of all, yes, soap operas are part of American culture, and you guys need to get your heads out of your asses about it.
Why? Are people banging on your door telling you that soap operas are no longer relevant in our
Yes.
culture? Who?
I see it all the time.
Like who, girl? Who?
And it's like, bitch,
Drop some names.
half the shit you guys love about prime time would not exist if it had not been developed in daytime.
Here we are. It's 1970s. Soaps were all the rage. I think this is probably like the era where it started to become less of like, because I know like a lot of like the 1960s type shows were very like family valued. They revolved around like people going to church and stuff like that, and just everyone had morals.
Yeah, this is like the start of the super couple era on soaps is the 70s.
And when things started getting like a little more scandalous too, like you had like affairs, and you had people like doing criminal acts. You had violence, and things just even getting a little weird. Like you had like supernatural elements being introduced to soap operas, like Dark Shadows. I think. Actually, I think by 1977, I think Dark Shadows was done, right?
Yeah, I think so.
But the groundwork was still there.
It didn't last very long, to be completely honest. Like, Dark Shadows, here's the thing though, back in the 70s, like, you had maybe 20 shows on the air. 20 soap operas.
Yeah. Oh, the whole fucking morning lineup consisted of them. And they were all like 30 minutes at this time, too. It wasn't like full hour-long eps.
Yeah, actually, they were 30, 45, or full hour. There was like one that was even like an hour and a half.
Oh, which one was that? I don't think I know that.
Yeah. Another World.
Another World was on for an hour and a half every fucking day?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Who had time for that shit? Who had time to sit there for an hour and a half and watch fucking Linda Dano, whatever her name was?
Okay, first of all, Linda Dano didn't come on till like the 80s, I think.
Well, we're close enough.
But like, back then, it was like, you were doing the ironing while you were watching your soap opera, you know? You were doing the vacuuming. That's what I still do. I like, if I have my soaps on, I'm doing other stuff too.
Yeah, we were still in an era where the ladies were at home. They weren't really fully in the workforce. We weren't filled with like Peggy Olsons and Joan Holloways out there. We were just filled with a bunch of Betty Drapers, and they were all home just ironing, picking up the dry cleaning, maybe making dinner, maybe making scotch for when your husband came home. You're just mixing up a stiff drink. They just need to daydream, so they just need to throw on these shows, get lost in these stories, and just kind of like live a fantasy life, basically. Just pretend they were these people. And I think that was kind of like the introduction of the super couples. So now you kind of like had this like dream whirlwind of a romance. That you're like, oh, like I wish I had a relationship like that with my husband. But meanwhile, he's out like, I don't know, working hard for the money and probably having an affair with his secretary.
But like, yeah, this is the era where you start to see like the super couples. You get like the early on super couples like Doug and Julie.
I don't think I know that name.
From Days of Our Lives. Dude, they're the ones who are married in real life. Bill and, is it Susan? Seaforth Hayes? Yeah, Susan Hayes and Bill Hayes. They're like the most adorable people ever because they fell in love in real life.
Are they elderly now? Are they like an old man and woman?
Yes.
Are they still on Days of Our Lives? Like, do they?
Yes, and they're still cute. Yeah, they're still on Days of Our Lives.
Are they like Jennifer Aniston's dad age, and he's just like this like 97-year-old man that just sits on a couch and?
No, they actually like move around. They're like still sprite and move around.
Like are they Weekend at Bernie, fucking Jennifer Aniston's dad, and it's like.
Not gonna lie, that's practically what they're doing with poor John Aniston.
Yeah, poor Jonathan. Is it John Aniston? That's his name?
Yeah, John Aniston.
Poor guy. Yeah, like I think I watched an episode like a few months back, and he was on it, and he was just like sitting on a couch, and I think he just looked like a prop that was in the background, and then one of the characters had to interact with him. And then he just like shakes his head yes, and that was the whole fucking like his whole fucking scene.
Like he will just pop up in rooms and just suddenly be sitting in a chair.
It's just like, you know what? It probably took all day to get him down to the fucking set. They had to get him into his wardrobe. They had to do his makeup, and they're like, "All right, Mr. Anderson, just fucking sit here, and we're gonna like flash a light in 10 minutes. Just shake your head yes." And then he just shakes his head yes, and they're like, "All right, that's a wrap, Mr. Anderson. You can go home now." And he just fucking gets in an Uber and just takes off. An Uber that his daughter, Jennifer Aniston, had to call for him because she's on set in this scenario. She's there every time he's there. She's having martinis with Allison Sweeney.
Yeah, right.
You don't think that Jennifer Aniston and Allison Sweeney like hang out on like Friday nights after?
No, that's totally not how things work.
After she takes her dad to the set his like once a week.
No, that's just not how it goes, Patrick. But I like your fantasy life.
Jennifer Aniston's complaining about like how she has to do another movie with Jim Carrey, and Allison Sweeney's like, "Damn, I just want to do a fucking movie, period."
Hey, Allison Sweeney is very busy doing Hallmark movies.
Yeah. You know what? Hallmark is probably like, "Hey, Allison Sweeney, then the next time you're on the set and Jennifer Aniston's there, see if you can like convince her to do a Hallmark movie. Like maybe we'll like give her a special like Mariah Carey Christmas-like movie where it's like Jennifer Aniston presents a Christmas miracle or something."
Dude, I would lose my mind if Jen Aniston did a Hallmark movie.
Yeah. You just wait. Come fucking July, we're gonna get a hot fucking behind the scene pic of Jennifer Aniston wearing like winter jackets that they wear on these Hallmark shows that like they don't really look like they would keep you warm, but
Yeah.
they just have to like throw on some type of jacket. She'd be like wearing one of those, like pretending to be shivering in like the hot August sun, holding a Folgers coffee. And maybe she'll have maybe she'll be like paired up with who's that guy that Elliot Brennan Elliott or something? What's the name of that guy?
Brennan Elliott.
Brennan Elliott. Maybe she'll be paired up with him. And then Lacey Chabet comes along and fucking slashes Jennifer Aniston's ankles because she's like, "Get off my man, bitch. He's all mine."
This is such a hot mess. Oh my god.
If you want to hear the story, go to Kat's website, kathalson.com, and she will fanfic it into existence for us.
No,
So
I won't.
We'll throw it on the list. We'll add it to the list. Anyway, where were we?
Hey, so Soap is the parody of soap operas,
Yes.
and it is the story of two families, and they are connected because the matriarchs of both are sisters. You have Jessica, who is married to Chester, and they're wealthy. You have Mary, who is married to Bert, and they're like working class.
And they live in the same like Connecticut suburb, but
Yes, they live in the town of Dunn's River.
we know the name of the town. I don't think I ever knew that.
Yes, it's Dunn's River, Dunn.
Yes, named after my grandfather, Harold. It was when he first came to America. He settled in Connecticut after he came back from Ellis Island, and he's like, you know what? I like this river here. I think I'm going to claim it as Dunn's River. 60 years from now, it'll become the location of a soap opera. OOGA. And here we are. Here we are now, today, talking about this.
So, yeah, they live in this small Connecticut town, and Jessica has 3 children. She has 2 daughters, Eunice, Corinne, and a son, Billy, who's played by Scott Baio's cousin.
Yes.
And then they also have the most wonderful butler, housekeeper, cook ever, Benson.
Benson! Ooga! He's the best. Shout out to fucking Benson. He makes this show.
Benson is like
All the
just
jokes.
perfection, just right off the bat. Like,
He's so great that they even gave him his own spin-off, which I think was like on the air longer than Soap.
it was.
Hold on. I apologize for like the constant barking of dogs in the background of this episode. They apparently think there's somebody here. And they're just barking at nothing. So I apologize for that if you find that distracting. Or if you find it adorable, send us a tweet at Very Podcast and tell me it's adorable.
And so, then you have... Oh, and also Jessica and Mary's father lives with Jessica and Chester. He is the major who thinks he is still in World War II.
Yes. So apparently he has suffered PTSD overseas, but this is probably like before like we knew what PTSD was. So it was just kind of like...
Or it's like dementia or something.
Yeah, it's just like a weird fucking sight gag that they just throw in every episode where he always just like marches into a room, he's wearing his army fatigues, and he just thinks the war is going on still. And
yeah, he thinks the Nazis are right outside. They're attacking.
And then, okay, so the show is also known for its controversy.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody is safe. No nationality, no race, no sexual orientation. Like everything is on limits in this. Like no one is safe. So there's so like if this came out today, it would be fucking mania on Twitter, on social networks, social media would be going nuts over this. I mean, there kind of was a controversy at the time when this came out, but it was a different time.
Well, that brings us to Mary's family.
So, the Campbells.
Yes, the Campbells. Mary is married to Bert, who is her second husband. Mary has 2 kids from her first marriage, Danny, played by Ted Wass.
Who's also Blossom's woke dad.
Yes. And Jody, played by Billy Crystal.
Yes, and I believe this was his first big role.
Yes.
And Jody has Billy Crystal has the pleasure of playing Jody. I guess television's first character who happens to be a homosexual.
First, like, openly gay character. It's 1977. You have this character, and you're trying to tell this story, but you also have to tell it to all of America, and you gotta kind of like tread very lightly because he's the first.
Yes. So,
You know?
there's a lot of awkward jokes in which they refer to him as being a fruit.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point in the series, Jody decides that he wants to undergo a sex change operation,
It wasn't that later, actually.
which was like later on in the show's run.
But that's when he's dating the closeted NFL guy.
I mean, well, it's true because the show was only on for like 4 years, so it's probably like midway.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, which was supposed to be like wild because it's like football players are not supposed to be gay. They're supposed to be like manly and macho and hetero and be like banging women. But
I mean, you could say, "Hey, I'm dating Jody," and nobody would think it's a guy. You know, until you met Jody.
yeah, the name Jody is kind of sexually ambiguous.
So
Could be a male or female.
there's a lot of tension.
Was Jody short for anything?
Not that I'm aware of.
Who knows? If you know what Jody's short for, tweet us at Very Podcast and let us know.
And here's the thing: in this episode, there's very little Jody.
Yes. So we get like a brief intro to Jody. We find out that he is gay. However, I don't think it actually explicitly comes out and they say that the character's gay.
They don't.
Bert Campbell, who is Jody's stepdad, husband of Mary Campbell, kind of like alludes to it.
Yes.
And Danny, who is Ted Wass's character, kind of is like, no, you're not going to call my brother a fruit. Like, he's no fruit. And Billy Crystal just kind of like comes into the room and smiles at the camera, just being like, oh, you guys.
Yeah. Like, there's definitely... like,
fools.
here's the thing. Danny is in denial, and Bert's an ass.
That is true. He is a dick.
You know?
A lovable dick.
And, like, Danny and Bert just spend so much time, like, going at each other about stuff. So there's, like, a lot of tension between the two of them. And Mary's just like, I just want you guys to eat your freaking Fruit Loops in silence. That's all I want from you idiots.
What I gathered is that Bert and Mary just recently got together within the last, like, year or two. That's how I interpreted this relationship.
Yeah.
And Danny is basically, and Jody, they're adult character. They're adults. You know, they're grown-ass adults.
Yeah, they're grown-ups.
And their mother has remarried after the passing of her previous husband, which we'll get to in a moment, why that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just kind of at odds. But at the same time, Danny and Jody are also kind of like leeching off the family. Like, they still live at home.
Well, here's the thing. I think it was acceptable back then to still live at home.
Really? Okay.
You know? I don't think there's, like, that push to move out on your own until later on.
I'm just kind of like thinking back to like my grandparents and all like as soon as their kids became adults, they were gone. They were like gone girl. Like my parents were married like when they were like 22.
I think my aunts and my uncles, they like left the house. Like my uncles probably left when they joined the Navy. And then like my aunts left when they got married because they both got married young. And then like my mom moved across country, was with my dad, and then got married, but then like she moved back.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess people can move back, but I mean, it seems like that people have the drive to stay home now. Like they don't have the drive to move out today. But I felt like back in the day, you know, like it was just like, oh, if you didn't go to college, you moved out and got married.
Yeah, but you have to have somebody to marry to move out. Who is like neither of these guys are married, and none of the the Tate kids are married. The daughters still live at home, even though Eunice is like working for Tate Incorporated or whatever it is.
Oh, I don't know. I'm kind of curious about like 70s dynamics. I don't know, like what was the median age where people moved out, and like how old are like these characters anyway? Like I kind of figured like Corinne was like younger-ish, like 18 or 19. And Eunice was like a little bit older, but I can't get a full grasp of like how old Jody and Danny are supposed to be, because I feel like they could be anywhere from like 19 to like 35.
It's that weird like age thing again that we've talked about.
People like age differently back in the day, and we can't.
Yeah.
I have a hard time like figuring out how old like people are supposed to be. Like when I watch old shows and they don't explicitly state like Danny's in college or like Danny's a high school senior.
I feel like they're supposed to be in their early to mid 20s.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that none of like other than the like actual grown-ups, like the parents, I'm gonna guess that none of the other children, in quotations, are under the age. They're all under the age of 25.
That's where I would put them.
But like in various stages, but they're other than the Baio boy, they're all between 18 and 25. That's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm going with.
See, I would say I think Danny's the oldest, and then Eunice, and then Jody and Corinna are closer to the same age.
And then you have Bert's son, Peter. Is that his name?
Peter, yes.
Robert Urich. He just looked hella old to me in this episode. I was like, whoa, this guy's like an old man.
He's probably like 25 or something.
Yeah, he's probably like in his mid to late 20s, at the latest late 20s.
Yeah.
But I was just like, wow, like Burt Campbell has a significantly older son played by Robert Urich.
And then, a while later, his other son shows up.
All right. So we're about to dive into soap, but before we get there, I think we should mention that we're watching the first episode ever of soap, just because I felt like we needed a starting point.
Yeah, and with this, it's kind of weird to dive in at any other point.
Yeah, you kind of got to get the intro. The first episode does a really good job of setting up the characters and the plot lines to come, because especially the first season is kind of like all like one big storyline, all circled around a mystery.
Yes.
Which the seeds are planted in this episode, so to say.
Everything starts off here.
But we're gonna now dip into the night of September 13th, 1977. It's a Tuesday night. Yes, flashback. We're going in our flashback machines. But before we get into soap, are you ready to hear about the television landscape that was 1977? The swinging 70s.
Yes, please. Tell me what's up.
Or was it the swinging 60s? All right. We're going to start off with ABC. A full hour, yes, a full hour of Happy Days!
Woo, Happy Days!
It's back-to-back episodes. The Cunninghams pack their bags to accompany the Fonz to California after a famous talent scout thinks he's found the next James Dean and invites his coolness to Hollywood for a screen test. Yes!
This is the Jump the Shark episode? You're kidding! The Jump the Shark episode aired the same night as the first episode of Soap?
Yes! And, hold on.
You guys, I'm legit shook right now. Oh my god.
And not only that, this episode also marks the debut appearance of Chachi, as portrayed by Scott Baio.
Oh, whoa, wait, what? I can't.
Yes. Not only do we get sharks in this episode, but we also get Chachi on the same night of television, September 13th, 1977, a Tuesday. A fucking Tuesday.
That is insane. That is, like, wild. I don't even know where to go with this information.
But hold on. We're going to get even better. We're now going to go over to the Season 2 premiere at 9 p.m. of Three's Company.
Oh my gosh, yay, Three's Company.
In tonight's episode, Ground Rules. This is the one where Jack and Chrissy walk in on Janet while she is entertaining a date. OOGA.
Ooh.
Wild stuff. And are you ready for ABC 9:30?
Let's do this.
Soap!
Soap!
We'll get there in a minute, girl. In a hot minute. But all right, are you ready for ABC 10 o'clock? I've never heard the show, but I'm like kind of excited about it.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a show called Family?
Yes, I have.
It's an Aaron Spelling show. It's a drama series, and it depicted a contemporary traditional family with realistic, believable characters. The series featured Meredith Baxter Burney as one of the family members, and Hot Scoop.
Okay.
Family became the subject of a 24-year-long legal dispute due to a lawsuit filed by the writer of the show, Jerry Emmett. The claim was against Spelling Television and alleged that Spelling had stolen the idea for the show from a script that Emmett had submitted entitled The Best Years. Spelling responded to the lawsuit with a statement explaining that he had conceived the idea in his kitchen with Leonard Goldberg, and who was his professional partner at the time. And in 1981, the suit was dismissed for lack of prosecution. However, in 1996, after Spelling had published his memoirs, Jerry Emmett sued Spelling a second time, and she claimed that Spelling had defamed her in his book, and she had not been credited with conceiving the original idea for Family. And she lost the appeal finally in 2001. OOGA. So it was a long road to nothing for Jerry Emmett.
Wow.
So, yeah, that is the legacy of Family. Like, the Wikipedia page mostly focuses on that, and rather than the actual show. So, OOGA.
Of course.
All right. Are you ready for NBC?
Yeah, what was on NBC?
All right, 8 p.m. The Richard Pryor Show. Have you ever heard of this? Have you ever heard of Richard Pryor?
Yes, I have.
All right, so this is a this was the series premiere. It was a comedy variety show starring obviously Richard Pryor, and it premiered on this night, and it only ran for 4 episodes, 4 eps. That's it. Then it got canceled.
Really?
But want to hear something wild about this?
Yes, always. You know I do.
TV Guide included the series in their 2013 list of 60 shows that were canceled too soon.
Oh, wow.
And you want to hear about some of the other cast members that were on the show? Perhaps you know their names.
Hit me with them.
Robin Williams,
Oh my god.
Sandra Bernard,
No way.
fucking Edie McClurg, gal pal, and another gal pal, Marsha Warfield.
No effing way. No effing way.
Yes.
What?
So that was yes, that is the Richard Pryor Show. It got canceled. It was kind of controversial. There was racial skits. There was a lesbian experience happened in a skit that was controversial. Okay. Nudity. I guess there was some nudity. Richard Pryor appears in one episode nude, but they like blurred out his genitals, made it look like he was a Ken doll. So I don't know. This is wild stuff for 1977.
Yeah, like, dude, this is wild stuff for 2018.
Yeah. Well,
on network TV, yeah.
I mean, network TV kind of pushes the boundaries every now and then, but the world was not definitely ready for Richard Pryor in 1977 because they canceled his ass. But he did go on to have a long career. He did a lot of films like The Toy and. Was he in Trade? No, that was Eddie Murphy. What the fuck am I talking about? What isn't there a movie with Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor?
Not that I know of off the top of my head.
I don't know. If there is, tweet us at Very Podcast and tell us what it is. Heather.
I love how you think Heather knows it all.
All right, I know you're ready to end off the night.
Okay, yeah, give it to me.
All right, NBC is dropping us with a TV movie. Are you ready for a 1977 TV movie?
What is it? Tell me. My body is ready.
Speaking of controversy, we're going to get into Sex and the Married Woman. Oh!
Ooh.
Sex and Married Women, 1977. NBC. You ready for the plot line?
Yes, give it to me.
All right. A suburban housewife writes a novel based on her neighbor's sex lives. It becomes a runaway bestseller, but causes no end of trouble in her marriage and her relationship with her neighbors. So, I don't know. I guess she's just writing about the gossip going on in her neighborhood. They found out about it, and I don't know. No, everyone's upset. Everyone's up in arms.
Yes.
So, I don't know. Wild stuff going on in 1977. I wasn't even born yet.
Yeah, neither of us were born. And I'm looking at this cast, I'm like, I don't know who any of these people are except for Jane Meadows.
I don't even know who that is, so. Sorry, Jane.
And I feel like I'm probably getting her confused with somebody else.
Yeah. Tim Meadows, maybe. Jane and Tim Meadows. I always mix those two up.
Yeah, I don't know. She was in a lot of stuff, though.
Let's get into the first episode of Soap. You ready to do beat by beat of Soap?
Yeah, let's do beat by beat as best we can.
All right. How does this madness begin? How does this hot ep of Soap?
It starts early in the morning. It's before breakfast. And Jessica's been out in her garden, and she asks Benson, to make breakfast. And Benson's just kind of like, why do I do this? Why am I working for these people? Like, you can tell he's there because he kind of likes some of the family members, but then he hates the others.
I think the only one he likes is the boy. What's his name? Jimmy?
Billy? Billy, yeah.
Yeah, I think the only one he actually likes is Billy.
Yeah. He likes Billy, but he has a soft spot for Jessica.
Yeah, that is true.
And he definitely has he doesn't hate Corinne.
But he hates Eunice.
But he hates everybody else.
Everyone hates Eunice. Let's just get that out of the way, too.
Yeah, pretty much. Eunice is just like this cranky bitch.
Yeah, she's just kind of like she's got her dad's money, and she's that girl that's just always down at the little boutique down the street, just buying fancy ass dresses.
No, she's not even that. She actually works. She works for her dad's company.
What does the dad do again? Do we know?
Like investments and stocks and stuff like that.
Okay, I don't know. We don't really get in this episode anyway. We don't really get involved in the professional lives of the characters, but
yeah,
we do get a peek.
But right off the bat, we learn that Benson does not like Chester at all. He's like, "Oh, Mr. Tate can't make eggs. I'm making eggs."
Yeah, and Benson hates his job too. Like he just hates the job, and he does the littlest amount of work possible. Let's just get that out of the way also.
Yeah.
But hold on.
And then
There is a weird scene though in the beginning where they're talking
yeah.
about the eggs, and
Uh-huh.
Jessica mentions that she wants that she thinks that they should make eggs Benedict, and Benson's like, whatever, all right, I'll make eggs Benedict. Oh no, hold on, I'm getting this wrong. So Jessica mentions that maybe they should make eggs Benedict. Chester says that he can't eat eggs because of the cholesterol, and then Benson's like, I'm gonna make the fucking eggs anyway. And this was that like weird time in America where people just thought like eggs were bad for you.
Yeah.
And I did a little research into this. Do you want to get conspiracy corner right now?
Yeah, let's hit conspiracy corner.
All right. So in the 60s, the sugar industry paid scientists to play down the link between sugar and heart disease and promote saturated fat as the culprit instead.
Okay.
They started to say like that sugar was good for you, and other like saturated fats and eggs and meat and all this stuff was bad for you. And people just fucking bought into this. People fucking bought into this hardcore. So people were just like loading up all their foods with sugar, thinking that it was okay for you. And no, it wasn't. Everyone got fat. And all along, people should have been eating eggs Benedict. So.
And suddenly, all those 60s, 70s cookbooks make way more sense.
Yeah. Like a little sugar won't kill you, honey. A little sugar won't do you no harm.
But then there's also like Benson and Jessica are talking about what to cook for dinner that night because Mary and the family is coming over. And Benson's like, oh great, I hate them even more than I hate these people.
Yes.
And Jessica's like, well, will you please make beef Wellington? And Benson's like, nope, not making it. I don't like it. And he knows it's Chester's favorite, so he's like, oh, hell no. Hell no.
You know what? I love that they, like, no one has ever thought of to fire Benson. Like, Chester's like, you know what? This guy fucking sucks. He does the opposite of what I say. Why don't we just get rid of him and just get another helper, like another servant? But no, like, no, they just keep him around. It's like, does he have something on the Tates?
No, I think it's just that Jessica thinks he's adorable and keeps him around. And Chester knows that it'll upset Jessica to fire Benson, so he doesn't do it.
Maybe, all right, hold on. I have a theory. Maybe because, Chester is a philanderer. He's just constantly having affairs on his wife, like just juggling multiple women around. So maybe if he keeps Jessica happy because Jessica likes Benson, that she won't be like tiptoeing around like what he's up to.
Exactly.
So all right.
Exactly.
So keep Jessica happy. She won't go tiptoeing. I can go around and like sleep with a bunch of floozies. And...
Nope, she won't know.
So did I just unearth like the secret behind Benson's survival in the Tate household?
Yes, I think you did.
No one has ever come up with this theory before in the history of...
Yeah, I'm sure nobody has ever come up with it before, Patrick.
You heard it here first. Podcast exclusive.
Yeah, so Benson's like, nope, I'm making fish. I like fish, and Mr. Tate hates fish. So it's just perfect. And then we get to Chester's in the bedroom. And he's on the phone with, like, his latest floozy, which is, like, his secretary. And he's, like, declaring his love for her. And then Jessica walks in and he, like, starts talking business.
Yes, he immediately changed the subject. But there's definitely, like, sexual innuendo in the topic that he changes.
Yes.
Because he's like, well, you know me, my stocks are always rising, or something like that.
Yes.
I kind of got the impression that, like, Jessica knew what was going on. Like, maybe deep down inside, she was like, you know what?
Yeah, like, deep down inside she knows, but she doesn't want to, like...
lose Benson. It all ties back to Benson.
Lose, like, the life she has. Like, she doesn't want to let go of what she has for her, and kids, and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, because I think we're still living in an era, I guess, where... Like, I think divorce existed, but it wasn't... It was, like, the last possible...
Yeah, exactly. Like, you didn't just get divorced. Like, you were still in your marriage for the long haul.
Yes, and they were a wealthy family. They were like the big to-do in Dunn's River, Connecticut.
Yes.
And he had a business that he had to run. So I guess if they got divorced, it would be like scandalous. And like Jessica has like a membership down at the old country club, and people would gossip, people would talk.
Oh, yeah.
I guess they would lose their place in society.
Exactly.
So, yeah, there's a lot of layers to soap. Let's just get that out of the way.
Exactly.
It's a very layered show. Very psychological, a lot of stuff going on.
Chester's cheating on Jessica. We've got Bert, then we cut to Bert and Danny. Danny's on the phone in the Campbell Dallas family kitchen. He's talking Italian to somebody.
Yes. And that's when Bert walks into the room. Played by Richard Mulligan. Let's just get that out of the way.
And it's awkward.
Bert comes in and he hears Danny talking in Italian. And then Danny immediately gets off the phone because, it ends up being a conversation that he didn't want Bert to know about. And Bert's not a dumb man. Like, he knows that Danny is not Italian.
Yeah.
And that if you're on the phone talking Italian, it's probably related to the mob. Spoiler alert, it is. We don't find out in this episode, but come down the line we do. And Bert confronts Danny and he's like, all right, I know what you're up to. Like, I know that you're talking to the mob, basically. And Danny's trying to, like, beat around the bush. She's like, you know what? Ever since you moved into this house, I don't like how you are trying to, like, butt yourself into my life, into my family's life. Like, you just back off, man. Just back off. And Bert's trying to be like, hold on. He's trying to save his life, basically. He's like, you know what? If you keep mixing yourself up with this, you're going to end up dead or worse off. Like, it's going to affect us. Like, maybe we'll die. Maybe we'll be shot in the crossfire. So you need to do yourself a solid and just step back, bro.
Actually, you probably don't know, but, like, when you get, like, a step-parent and they, like, start, like, butting into your life, you're like, back off, hold up. Who do you think you are?
Well, I've never had a step-parent, so I can't really say for sure, but, you know what, if I went through, like, most of my life without having a step-parent, then all of a sudden, like, this other person shows up, this other adult, and just, like, bossing you around, I'd probably be like that, too. Totally understand. Parents just don't understand. Especially step-parents.
Yes, and they're grown-ups, so it's not like they're kids, and he's all like, hey, I'm going to tell you what to do and how you should live your life, and it's like, dude, focus on your own kids. Don't focus on me. Like, get off my back. And I also get the impression that it hasn't been very long since their father passed, so there's that tension, too.
Yeah, it's not like you're my dad, you're just some fucking bloke who's fucking my mom. It's like basically, is what Danny is saying to Bert. Just because you stick your dick in my mom does not mean you're my dad.
Yes, and let's be real, we kind of get it implied that Bert is not even doing that to Mary.
Yeah, oh yeah, because we find out that Bert is impotent.
Yep.
He's been having trouble getting it up. And we're definitely in like pre-Viagra America.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll soon learn that this is basically because Bert has a guilty conscience. Because Hot Scoop Cat, what did Bert do?
He kind of killed Danny and Jody's dad.
Yes! And not only that, he then moves in on the widow. Very quickly, man.
Yes, he moves in on Mary, and it's like, oh, hi, bitch.
Yeah, so it's like, you know what?
Hi.
So they got married, and he started feeling guilty, I guess. He had the guilty conscience. It laid on him, pushed him down, and it affects his sex life. It's like, so now he can't get it up. Now he can't stick his dick in.
Yes, I know. Like, that's the only way to put it, though.
Such a very romantic way that I put it there.
It really is.
So now I think we should we get into what's been going on in Billy's life?
About Billy, he's going to have his first date, and he's got a pimple, and his sister Eunice is bitching at him for having a magazine with pictures of naked ladies.
Yeah, so basically, Billy is just the first introduction of Billy. We get him. He's sitting in his bedroom. He's like looking in one of those little hand mirrors, staring at like his forehead. He's got a big ass fucking pimple. He's got his first date. He's gonna go out with like some schoolgirl. They're gonna go out to Lover's Lane, maybe neck in a car overlooking the city of Dunn's River, like up on a hill. And it's all ruined now because, like, you know what? When you're like 14, 15 years old and you get a pimple, it's fucking soul crushing.
Especially like when it's the night of your like first date ever.
Oh yeah, it always like, you know what? You never get like a pimple like when you're just like gonna be chilling at home for the week because you aren't feeling good, or like you have like nothing going on. You get a fucking pimple when like the prom's coming up or like a big dance or like a party that you like really wanted to go to.
Mm-hmm.
And now you gotta go into this thing and you have a fucking big gigantic target on your forehead that everyone's gonna see as soon as you walk into the room.
Exactly.
It's like the modern day wine stain on your shirt. Like, oh shit, I got a wine stain on my on my new white shirt.
Yes, exactly.
But the 8th grade version of that is a big fucking pimple on your forehead. So he's like bitching about that, and Eunice comes into the room. I forget why, just because she's just being Eunice, and she just has to like butt into everybody's life. And I love like just the dynamic between Billy and Eunice. Like Billy just fucking hates Eunice. I think everybody hates Eunice.
Yeah. Billy's just like, you're the worst older sister. Like, just go away, Eunice.
Yeah, he's like, you're not as cool as Corinne. Like Corinne, might come in and give me some pointers on like how to like clear up this pimple. Instead, Eunice is basically implying that Billy's pimple is related to the way that he oogles at women because she finds a Playboy under his pillow or something, like under his bed.
Like, what is she even doing, like, searching through his room? Like, what is she doing?
Because she sucks.
She's just being a nosy bitch.
Yeah, Eunice sucks. She's got a shitty fucking haircut. Like, I think Eunice thinks she's someone that she's not.
Yes. Eunice definitely has the thought that she is somebody more important than she really is. And, yeah.
Yeah, because...
Best way to put it.
And you know what? Like, we're supposed to hate Eunice. Like, the audience is supposed to not like Eunice. Because she just kind of... Like, she even, like, gives shit to Corinne, because Corinne's just, like, a party girl. Like, she likes to go out at night and party and hang out with dudes and, I don't know, get drunk with her friends and smoke pot, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And Eunice is just super judgy. Like Eunice, no fun. Like, zero fun at all. Like, Eunice has never had fun in her life. Like, what do you think is, like, the most fun Eunice ever had? Like, she saw, like, Lady and the Tramp or something?
Not even that. Like, she maybe played with some bubbles as a kid. Maybe.
Oh, yeah. She went to the zoo one time when she was, like, 4. And she smiled. She cracked a smile at, like, the giraffe that she saw.
Yes, exactly. She's that one. She's just the cranky one.
Yeah, she'll grow up to be a spinster. She'll live alone at the house at the edge of the streets, just like always looking out the window.
Hashtag spoiler alert, that's not what happens to Eunice.
What does happen to Eunice? I forget. It's been so long since I've watched it.
Eunice falls in love with Dutch, the convict.
Oh yeah, she takes like a wild 180.
Who escapes prison with Chester. And then Dutch has an affair with Corinne, but then he goes back to Eunice, which drives Chester insane.
All right, shall we get into the shenanigans that Corinne's up to?
Oh, Corinne.
So Corinne makes a late appearance in this episode. Like, she comes in like the last like 5 minutes.
She comes up to breakfast, and Eunice is like, Eunice has been making comments and not coming home, and Jessica's like, Corinne, did you not come home last night? And Corinne's like, oh, well, there was an accident. And this is after Chester has already given Jessica a story about there being like an accident with hogs. And Corinne's like, yeah, there were turkeys all over the road. And Jessica's like, hogs and turkeys? And she's like, no, Ma, just turkeys. She's like, and Jessica's like, no, your dad had an accident last night with hogs. And they're both like lying here because they both spent the night somewhere else.
We know that Corinne's been out all night. Possibly with a man.
Corinne is, she's a young girl, she's attractive, and it's totally okay for her to go wherever she wants to go at night, spend that time with whoever she wants to spend that time with.
Yeah, shout out to Corinne. You know what? I love Corinne, and I kind of upset that they slut-shamed her.
Yes, Corinne is actually probably one of my favorite characters on this show.
Yeah, she is. I think long-term, I like Corinne and Billy, and Benson, and Bert. I've always liked Bert. Like, as problematic as he is at times, I just love Bert.
I think my favorites are Corinne, Jody, and I really love Dutch when he comes on.
Yeah, and I do like what was the name of Bert's other son? Bob with the dummy. Was that his name, Bob, or is the dummy name
Chuck and Bob?
Yeah, Chuck and Bob. Shout out to Chuck and Bob.
Bob and Chuck.
They don't appear in this episode. They weren't born yet.
Born. They just show up later.
So we're now going to get into, I think, what I like to call the big reveal. This is definitely the part of the episode that like lays the groundwork for the rest of the season and maybe perhaps the series. What do you think?
It definitely sets things up to evolve the way they do.
Yes. So we find out that Corinne has a date. Well, not like a date, but like she has like plans to play tennis with her instructor. I guess she's trying to get better, trying to improve her game.
You're getting confused. No, Jessica has the tennis. Jessica has the tennis lesson, not Corinne.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so Jessica has tennis lessons with her instructor and down at the old country club. I guess, she's just kind of bored, like a bored little housewife. She doesn't have much going on, so she just takes lessons and wants to improve her game and stuff like that. We cut over, and we see Jessica in bed with Robert Urich, who we do not know yet that it is Bert's son. We'll find out later on, but...
Yeah, we'll find out when it comes to the actual dinner party.
Yes. So we see Jessica in bed with Robert Urich. So, shocker, she's having an affair with a younger man, played by Robert Urich. And he's kind of nervous about something. She's kind of nervous about something. And there's a knock at the door, basically, and he kicks Jessica out the back door, out the back way. Robert Urich goes and answers the front door, and guess who's there?
Corinne!
And they smooch. Like, they smooch right away. So Robert Urich is sleeping with Jessica and her daughter, Corinne. And come to find out that Robert Urich is going to be Bert's son. And then Bert's son, played by Robert Urich, ends up dead. And it becomes a fucking mystery for the whole goddamn season. And everyone's a suspect. It's great. It's fucking great.
And everybody thinks Jessica did it.
Everyone thinks Jessica did it. And spoiler, she ends up doing it. She ends up being that.
No, she's not the one.
She's
not the one.
That's right. She was like under trial though. Sorry, it's been a while since I've.
It was Chester. Yeah, she went on trial for it, but she didn't do it. And originally it was supposed to be his brother that did it. Or maybe it was the dummy that... The dummy was supposed to testify against... Or like the brother was supposed to testify against the dummy, and they're the ones who killed him.
No, but
the character took off. The characters took off. Chuck and Bob took off so well that they decided to rewrite that.
Chuck and Bob initially had a smaller part of the show, but they were so wild that, like, we can't get rid of these characters so quick.
Yeah, we got to keep these, like, this ridiculous mess. It's too much fun.
Yes. So some other fun things that happened on the show. The show eventually kind of evolves into mayhem, basically. So Corinne ends up having an affair with a priest.
They get married, the mother curses them, and their baby is possessed by the devil.
Yes. Bert eventually becomes abducted by aliens. And he goes into outer space. There's like a whole string of episodes involving aliens.
And Mary gets impregnated by the alien who takes Bert's place.
And Jessica eventually ends up getting kidnapped by some like South American
revolutionaries, and she falls in love with like the leader, and it's like this crazy hot mess.
Yes. So Jessica falls in love with the leader of this revolutionary army down in like Ecuador or something. And the series ends on like a huge cliffhanger where Jessica is about to be executed.
Mm-hmm.
And ABC did not renew the series for a 5th season because creator Susan Harris actually was going to end the show during its 5th season, but ABC like quickly pulled the plug. Probably because a lot of their sponsors were like pulling the plug from ABC because of the show's like craziness.
Yeah, and it ends with that cliffhanger. It ends with Chester walking in on Danny and Annie in bed together, and at this point we have discovered that Danny is actually Chester's son from a fling Mary and Chester had before he married Jessica.
Yes.
Jody at this point he didn't go through with the sex change, but he did have a relationship with a woman, and they had a daughter, and she left to join the rodeo. So there's a custody battle when she decided she wanted the kid back. Jody won custody. He went through hypnosis. I think it was like one of those try to like make yourself straight things, if I remember correctly. And he ends up like thinking he's some old Jewish man who would make these great comments about the craziness of all these people around him.
So the big cliffhanger that everyone wanted to know about, like, did Jessica survive? And the show got canceled. However, ABC did pick up the show Benson, which ended up becoming like a wildly popular sitcom for like most of the 80s. It like was on for a few years. It was syndicated for a while. Like, yeah, I remember like TV Land used to play it and stuff. But there is one episode. It was like maybe like the 2nd or 3rd season in that Jessica makes an appearance as an apparition to Benson.
Benson's the only one who can see her, and she tells him that she's alive, but she's in a coma in South America.
And she tells Benson that she loves him, and he tells her that he loves her, and she walks out of the room, and that's the last time like Benson ever brought up any of the characters from Soap. So it was just kind of this weird send off they did it for the fans. Too bad we didn't get like more Soap shenanigans on Benson. You know, maybe like the Baio boy could have showed up. Maybe, who knows?
Well, he became a member of that South American Revolution.
And he got kidnapped by the Moonies one.
He was in a cult.
He got kidnapped by the Moonies.
The Sunnies. The Sunnies. They were called the Sunnies, not the Moonies, because they were a parody of the Moonies.
Yes, it was a parody of the Moonies. I forgot they were called the Sunnies. I apologize, but I love that string of episodes though too. Like the whole show's great. You can find the episodes online. I think people would enjoy it. If you're not familiar with the show, I think you should definitely check it out. You might cringe at some of the dated humor because a lot of it is like kind of offensive, but
yes,
I think it means well. Like I don't think it.
Yeah, it meant well. It wasn't malicious.
No.
Like here's the thing. Like they try this today, but they would have to like tone down so much crap so that Twitter wouldn't flip the fuck out. Honestly, yes. Twitter, you need to take a fucking chill pill 90% of the time.
Cosign. So yeah, so like the humor, it did like provide like a skewed view on what was going in America at the time, but it wasn't, as you said, malicious. It just did like general stereotypes of various races and culture and sexual orientations, which it's tough to do, I think, in today's climate. But I think at the time, and even if you could go back and watch it, it wasn't like too cruel.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Don't worry.
But I still think people should check it out. Like it was a part of our culture. I think it was a part of our time. Like in the same way that you look back and watch like All in the Family, and you just go like, wow, like they got away with that stuff back then.
And like this is a show that like we both discovered when we were in like middle school because it would re-air on Comedy Central.
Yes, so Comedy Central re-aired the fuck out of this like every day for like 5 or 6 years.
And they would have weekend marathons like on a 3-day weekend like Memorial Day, and you would just be like glued to the TV.
Yeah, they would play the whole series like over the course of like a weekend. And
back then we called these marathons, not binges. Marathons.
Yeah. I would just dip in for like 5 or 6 hours, watch as much as I could, and then like sometimes I would even like watch the whole. Like there was one time I was on like Thanksgiving weekend, and I sat down and I watched the whole fucking thing. I watched the entire series of Soap, and I was like,
yeah, like I definitely watched it like a few times all the way through during these little marathons, like as much as I could. Like, I'd be up late at night watching, just, like, waiting.
And I remember.
To see what happened next. Like, was Billy gonna be saved from the cult? Like, was Corinne's baby gonna, like, not be possessed?
And I remember, I never knew, like, how the series ended. So I remember when I saw, like, the actual last episode, I was, like, waiting for the next one to air, and it just, like, started over. It just went back to the beginning. I was like, what the?
Yeah, it's like, no!
And then I think, like, when the internet finally came around in like 96, 97, and people started like writing about television shows, I finally looked it up and I saw that the series ended on a cliffhanger, because I was always like, I never saw the end of the show. Like how does it end? Like how does Jessica get out of this? But I never knew. Like I just did not know like that the show just ended that way.
Yes, exactly.
So it was wild to me.
This is like a show I would love for them to like reboot, like, but like just pick up however many years later it is. Like, what is it, 40 years later, 30 years later?
Yeah, it's about 40 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but like, you know what? Sadly, we've lost a lot of the older crew.
That's true.
So I think it would be sad to do. Like, I almost think you would have to just redo it, like start it over at this time.
Yeah, you probably would.
Yeah, I don't think there's a people are clamoring for Murphy Brown, but they're not clamoring for Soap, unfortunately.
I'm clamoring for more Soap. I want Soap rebooted. I want this ridiculous, hot, crazy world back.
All right, well, we're halfway to 2018. We're still working on our 2018 vision boards, so maybe we could vision board Soap back into existence. So everyone, get out your vision boards. Throw Billy Crystal on there and Ted Wass, and the actress who plays Jessica is still around. I think she's just like hella old, but she's still around.
Yes, Catherine Hellman is still here.
But I think like Bert and Mary and Chester are gone. Unfortunately, we've lost them. Benson unfortunately passed away like last year.
Yes, unfortunately.
And you know what? I don't even know if I want to see it without Benson. Let's be real.
Yeah, like you couldn't do a Benson character now.
Yeah.
Not that way, at least.
Yeah, like who would be the new Benson? Like who do you think could like be Benson?
I don't think anybody could. Like I don't know if you could have this sassy African American butler now.
You know what?
It'd have to be like a sassy gay guy.
Ooh, yeah. Or it could be like Jane Krakowski as Lady Benson.
That's an interesting take.
Yeah, I don't know. Like just do a complete 180, make Benson female and Jane Krakowski. Why not, right? Why the fuck not, girls? Why not?
I mean, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt does end. Oh my god, wait. When does that new season drop? Oh my god, it drops this week.
It's in like a few weeks, so shout out to new seasons of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt and Arrested Development coming our way. So we got a lot of TV watching to do, so I'm gonna have to hurry up and get to this American Dad rewatch.
We got a lot of marathoning to do. I'm gonna start calling it marathoning again.
You know what? Let's bring back marathon. #marathon.
Yes.
It's coming back. It's coming back with a vengeance. And even like the Beavis and Butthead Maranathon that MTV would do.
Exactly.
Let's bring it back, girls. Let's bring it back. All right, what are we doing next week?
I don't know, because I don't know where my day planner is.
I got my day planner.
I'm like the worst. Like, I don't know where my day... Hold on, I know where my day planner is.
We'll play the Price is Right theme song while Kat Halstead, the author, gets her day planner.
Okay. Ooh. We're going old school next.
Yes, we are going back in time, guys. Back in time. All the way back to
We're doing a freaking TV classic.
Yes.
A classic.
Yes, we're doing an actual classic, Bewitched. We're about to get bewitched, y'all. We're going to go back in time. We've been, you know what? We have put this on our list so many times, and it's been moved back so many times. We've bumped it. Sorry, Samantha and
Darren and Dora.
Yeah, so sorry, Darren and Samantha. I almost said Daryl. I had to almost correct myself, but
what was I listening? Oh, I was listening to that one podcast. Some podcast. Oh, I was listening to you idiot. Your side chick podcast, and you guys called him Daryl instead of Darren.
Yeah. So listen to Red, Wine, and Mystery Stories, my other podcast, and I accidentally called Darren Daryl. You know what? I think I was thinking of Newhart. Sorry.
Daryl, and Daryl.
Well, we're finally going to do it next week. We're finally going to do Bewitched. We haven't selected an episode yet, but I think we should do like an old-timey one, like first Darren 1.
Yeah.
And we're maybe...
Do like a black and white?
Yeah, like a black and white one. Definitely maybe one with like Mrs. Kravitz. A Mrs. Kravitz heavy episode.
Because we are Mrs. Kravitzes.
We are all Mrs. Kravitzes.
Yes.
We are 2018 Mrs. Kravitz. All right. Where can you follow us? Where can you follow our wild adventures?
You can follow us on Twitter at Very Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at A Very Special Podcast. Do not accept invitations. You can find us online at averyspecialpodcast.com.
And as always, girls, as always, guys.
Bye!
Watch the skies.